What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I am so super stoked to have you here. If you are if you're a subscriber or you've watched a few videos, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for your support. It's definitely appreciated and definitely needed. If this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you find something in this video that helps you. If it does, please hit that like button so that it can go out into the algorithm and other people can find out about it. And while you're there, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can find out when I put up some more content. So if you have been with me for a minute, you do know that this channel is all about helping content creators on a budget get started without breaking the bank. So while I was doing some research on some different things on that, I came across some really cool information. So apparently, back in, I think, November of 2020, YouTube did a survey about the income of their content creators, and they noticed that about 1 million of them, or roughly around 3%, were what they consider to be full-time. Now, their criteria to be full-time is making about 6 figures. So that means there's even more out there, probably millions more, that are doing this as a full-time job, as their only job, and they just weren't considered to be full-time by YouTube. Kind of got me thinking and was kind of the inspiration for this video, because at the end of the day, isn't that why most of us are here? Now, there are some who don't want to have anything to do with being full-time on YouTube or being a content creator, but for some of us, they do. Now, I want to start off. There is a negative connotation out there with the term content creator or social media influencer or anything like that. And I don't want to say it is or isn't a well-deserved negative feeling, but I think it's something we need to just push through, because at the end of the day, that is what we're doing here. We're creating content for other people to consume. So please don't take it negative. If to call yourself a content creator, please don't sit there and say you're better than that. Just own it and move with it, because as soon as you own that fact, everything else becomes easier. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and roll the intro in just a second, but just stick with me, watch the entire video, and if you make it to the end, there's gonna be a little something there for you. I cannot stress rule number 1 enough, and that is, no one is an island. Don't try to do it by yourself. Going in and watching YouTube videos for hours on end is a great way to learn skills and learn techniques and learn how to get past hurdles as you approach them. But the problem is that you don't know what you don't know. And you're not gonna know that you don't know it until you need to know it. And you're not even gonna know where to ask or where to look for that if you're trying to go alone. Great example. One of the groups I belong to for LumaFusion, someone was on there either this morning or last night, and they were trying to figure out a question about audio and how to level out all of their audio clips at the same time. And they didn't know where to look or even how to ask that question in YouTube's algorithm to get a solid answer. So they reached out to the group, and someone was able to give them a YouTube video to watch to clean up their audio. So Facebook, Reddit, places like that, they all have really good groups of people who are doing what you're doing. Just search, join, and pay attention. Which leads me to number 2, which is that filmmaking is subjective. What I mean by that is what works for me may not work for you. You may use your phone, whereas I use a camera. You may choose natural light, whereas I use softboxes and a ring light. And some people are gonna wanna use add-on lenses to their cameras. Other people are happy with to their phone. Other people are happy with the lens that is on their phone. It's all about making sure your production or what video you're making, you're letting what you're doing dictate what equipment you get and not the other way around. You don't want to try to budget a film or budget a video based on the equipment you have. Your best bet is just start with what you know, and then if you need to upgrade to make something, then you do the research and figure out what it is you need. And I really can't stress this enough. It is the benchmark of what this channel is about, and that is that more expensive does not necessarily mean better. For example, the ring light I have right here is my key light. Cost me $10. The two softbox lights I have over my head to give me the ambient light and the background and all of that, they cost me $70. And before I had all of this, I was making videos with just 3 ring lights and 2 softboxes that I made out of a shower curtain and some cardboard. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to get quality. It's all about understanding what you're doing and utilizing your resources to the best of their potential. Speaking of lights, that brings me to my next tip, which is to never underestimate the importance of good lighting and good sound. Right now I'm recording off of a shotgun mic right here on my camera, and I have my studio mic right here. I'm recording dual because if something goes wrong with this microphone, then I at least have this one recording good audio, because what's recording into my camera is not going to be usable. And it doesn't matter how good of a story you have, what it is you're doing. If it sounds bad, people aren't going to listen to it. The same goes with lighting. I could have a $5,000 camera mounted there, and if I didn't have these 2 lights on, it would still look just like this. It would not be a good picture. But because I have the light, give it a second for the camera to adjust, I have a quality image. To stress the importance of good lighting, go back and watch my last video where I was doing a tutorial on Lightroom. And you'll see in the lower left-hand corner where I left my image up, you're gonna see that I set automatic white balance, and some light coming in and out from the window, from the sun, really messed up the image. It made it dark, and then it bright, and then dark, and then bright, and it really took me forever to do any kind of adjustments to it because it was so blown out in so many ways. And that kind of brings me to my next trap. Well, it's kind of a tip and a trap together. So the trap is, you're gonna hear a lot of people say, oh, you can just fix it in post. Oh, fix it in post. And that means fix it while you're editing. But if you want to save yourself time, energy, money, and headaches, don't fix it in post. Fix it in camera. Make sure it's right before you get to post so that you can do really fast edits and just get them out. And especially if you're doing YouTube, like I spend about 4 hours worth of footage, and then I spend a day at least editing each video. So it takes a long time to do editing. So you want to do as much in production as you can. That's why I record on 2 microphones. Can't record on 2 cameras right now because I only have the one, but I do choose to do 2 microphones as a backup. And I also have my little clapper here to make that loud popping sound, because my camera does record, it's just not usable audio. But I can use the waveform on that audio to sync it up with the working audio in a matter of a few seconds. If you use something like Final Cut, it will automatically sync up your video and audio if you do it right. So please, please, please take the time in production. If you don't have one of those, just clap at the beginning of each video. And that kind of leads me into my next tip, which is that nothing will be as good to you as experience. You can watch every YouTube video out there on how to create content and how to edit and how to shoot, and you can take in all that knowledge and you can know it as well as you know math and science and anything else you've learned throughout your life. But until you've actually done it, you're not going to be good at it. And that goes for filmmaking, that goes for editing, and that especially goes for posting, for creating content. I can be the first one to tell you, if you go back and watch my LumaFusion 101 series and just watch it from beginning to end, and then come back and watch a later video, you're gonna see even in that series of 7, which I filmed over the course of, I think, 2 weeks, you're gonna see growth. And what ended up happening is It took me months to make that first one because I never liked what I created. So finally I was just like, you know what? F this. I put it on YouTube and I left it there. And then that was so empowering because it was done. Because it didn't matter about anything else. That was out there. Yeah, it wasn't public yet, but it was out there. And then that 2 weeks later, when I hit that button and made them all public, man, it was so freeing. I gotta tell you. Since then, I've been able to watch them and see where I made mistakes and know that my mistakes aren't that big of a deal. And I'm able to keep posting. And that's really the biggest thing I can tell you is just film it and post it. It's gonna be bad, and that's okay. This kind of should be a separate tip, but I'm gonna piggyback it on because they are one and the same. And that is to not be afraid to throw away your baby. The thing that you have had that was the center of your vision for creating the video, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Throw it out. Your favorite scene, if it can't make it fit, throw it out. Your favorite sound, if it can't make it work, throw it out. Be willing to sacrifice everything that you love about each individual clip for the overall video. That leads me really to my next tip, and that is that, I'm sorry to break it to you, you are no Steven Soderbergh. What I mean by that is if you start doing research into mobile filmmaking and mobile video editing and anything like that, you're going to start seeing people talking about Steven Soderbergh filmed an entire feature-length movie and studio released on an iPhone 11 and made the overarching decision he was never going to use a studio camera again because his phone was good enough. And it was a really good movie. It was really well shot. But on top of him just sitting with a camera on a gimbal, he wasn't using an $80 gimbal. Let me tell you that first. He was using a Steadicam. He was using dollies. He was using studio level, extremely expensive equipment and an iPhone. You're not going to get that level. That doesn't mean don't try to do it. That just means to not expect that that's going to be your end. Don't make that your end game. In other words, don't think that this is going to be who you are because you don't have the connections he has. If you do, then use them. Please make movies on iPhones. I would love to see it. In fact, if you can make a feature-length vertical film to stream on Netflix, please, I'm dying to see that because I think that would be awesome. But right now, that's not anything anyone's doing, and you're probably not going to be the first person. So just go at a slow and steady pace. And by that, I mean use the equipment you have and need until you don't need it or until you need something more. And that leads me to my final point, which is probably the biggest one I have, and that has to do with the term cinematic look. It's really not even just that term. There's a lot of things like that. There's cinematic look. There's this concept of if you're going to do mobile editing, you need to have an anamorphic lens attached to your phone, or you need to have lenses by this group. You need to be on a gimbal. You need to use this. You need to use that. It's this concept that because somebody does it, everyone needs to do it. And cinematic look kind of sums that up for me, because all you really mean is looking like a movie. And I can tell you, as someone who used to work at a movie theater, back before Netflix and streaming was a thing, every movie does not look exactly the same. There is no cinematic look. When you say cinematic look, mostly what people think in their mind, Marvel, big budget, Hollywood, over the top. And yes, you can get that, and yes, that's something to strive for, but if you're doing a YouTube video, do you really need it to look like Captain America? You just need to have a good, clean look. So, and when you hear people say cinematic look, just know they're trying to sell you something most times, or they've been sold something. And really what they mean is clean and professional. That's what you really should focus on more than anything, is try to have a professional look. Congratulations, everybody. You made it to the end. You watched a really long video. Hopefully you got some information out of it. If so, please hit that subscribe button so you can see some of my other videos. I am going to go back to LumaFusion next. As promised, there is a small little surprise. It's not huge. I can't really afford to do huge, but full disclosure, I am one of those people that is in this to try to make this into a career. That's not because I want to spend all of my time talking to a camera, but I would actually like to be making money off of doing this channel so that I could focus time and attention on my other channel, which is more digital ministry, and focus time on helping my church to grow to where I think it could be. And to do that, I need the spare time and I need this passive income. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, the only way to make money off of YouTube is to be at 1,000 subscribers and 400 hours of view time. Now, I get it. That is a big number, especially if you look at my channel right now. I'm at 23 subscribers and 22 hours of view time. So yeah, that's going to be a hard thing to reach. But I think if we work together, we can do it. So what I'm proposing, because every overnight success is about 10 years in the making, I know it's not going to be anytime soon, but I think we can push the algorithm, and I think we can kind of work inside the system to get me closer. And to do that, I need your help. And if you're going to help me, I'm going to help you. So what I'm proposing is we set a goal of 500 subscribers and 2,000 hours watched. That's halfway point to being monetized, and it's a pretty difficult goal. Like it shouldn't be an easy one, and I don't want it to be easy, and I want my content to speak for itself. So I don't want you guys to just go and start subscribing or just like sit there and have it repeating in the background so that I get the hours up, but I want you guys to help me out by sharing this video or sharing any of my videos. Share my channel, get my name out there, and I'll keep creating the content and making good videos to share. And if we hit that goal of 500, or when we hit that goal of 500 and 2,000, I will hold an editing contest with a pretty good prize. I don't know the prize yet because I don't know how long that's going to be, and I don't know what I'm going to be able to do at that time. I would like to set a time frame of by the end of August. So if by September 1st we're at that goal, then I'll have something for you. But if it takes longer, it takes longer. But I'm putting it out there. If we can hit that 500 and 2,000, the minute we hit that, I will put together an editing contest for you guys with a pretty cool prize. Okay, that's all I got for you. So until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, keep editing, and God bless. I hope you have a wonderful week.